Hello, welcome back to a new video. In this video, I'll be talking about the different types of roofs you can do in your Minecraft world. Now, I'll be talking about 5 different roofs, and if you want more, please maybe give a like, comment, subscribe, anything like that. I'll also be talking about the history of these roofs. So, without further ado, let's get into it. This roof is called a gable roof. This is one of the most simplest roof designs in both Minecraft and real life. It's found in many regions of the world, being most common in colder climates where precipitation is higher, like Northern Europe, where roofs are often richly decorated. However, this exists in warmer regions, such as in classical Greek structures. There's often called a pediment on classical Greek temples, and in traditional Eastern Asian architecture, but we'll talk about that later. Amongst some of the earliest and most elaborate designs are from late medieval townhouses of Amsterdam, often having a separate style credited to have it been known as a Dutch gable. Now, this is a house that's designed to be medieval. Um, However, it could be a bit more of a modern house. I just designed it off a house I already built. Now, if you go over to this section, you can get the cross section. As you can see, it's simply just blocks going one up in a sort of stair going up to a point. You can have an overhang, you can not. Oftentimes you have stairs going up and up and up as well you build up. Oftentimes I like to remove the stair from this section and place a block there, sort of like that, and have that go around, also in the same sort of block palette. Now, we won't be talking much about Gable as it's just a classic design that's the easiest to build essentially. So let's get on to the next one. I have used my medieval tavern build as an example of a gambrel roof. However, historically Europeans did not distinguish between this roof and a mansard roof, which will be the next style I will talk about. The word itself is of American origin, suggesting that it's most popular in the US, in buildings such as barns or anything like that, with the word deriving from medieval Latin word gamba. Typically, this roof was made to preserve the advantages of a sloped roof while maximizing the headroom. Its origin in North America is disputed, but one of the most popular theories is that it's of Dutch origin, bringing the style with them when they colonized New Amsterdam, which later became New York. And I understand we have talked about the Dutch in 2 roofs. They like their roofs and they're famous for it. Now this is a cross section of a gambrel roof. You can see we have for overhang and then it goes blocks up. Typically on this block you would have the stairs. In this build you can see I've used blocks to fill out the rest of it. However, you can have stairs going all the way across. Once you get to the top layers, you do the classic gambrel style of just going up. In one of my earlier videos, I did refer to gambrel roof as an A-frame, which was incorrect, and I realized that when I posted it. So, this would have been used, as I said, in more Europe, well, more American situations. So me using it on a medieval build is not quite accurate. However, I personally think it looks better than a gambrel roof on a more medieval style build. That's why I use it. So this just shows that you don't have to be accurate for a roof to look good. And Minecraft is a medium to do that. So let's get on to the mansard roof. The example I have used of the mansard roof is a French townhouse, typically found in Paris, as another name for this roof is a French roof. Now that is accurate, as the earliest known Mansard roof was credited to Pierre Lescot around 1550 when it was used on the Louvre. It was popularized in the early 1600s by Francois Mansart. As was discussed before, it's a close cousin to the gambrel roof, both being curved roofs. Much of Paris was built with this during France's Second Empire under Napoleon III, giving rise to the Second Empire style, which is known throughout the world. Now, if we go to the cross section, this is without the section that goes in like that. So you can see how it goes up. Now, it's very similar to the gambrel roof, noting the similarities. So it goes up. However, instead of going to a point, it lies flat. That is really the only change, except on the corners. Typically, when you use French roundhouses, you also have it go the same sort of cross section of this on here. So it goes up to a point like that. Now, this is quite a nice roof style. When you are looking from below, you can't see the point of the roof. And I hope this French townhouse is decent. I'm not the best at that style. However, let's move on to the hip and gable roof. The hip and gable roof is also called, and please forgive my pronunciation here, Jishan in Chinese, Paljak Jibung in Korean, and Iramoya in Japanese. It is also known as the resting hill roof. This style originated in China, but spread, becoming the traditional roof in much of East Asia, including Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Bhutan, Mongolia, and Sri Lanka. It is thought to have originated from the Eastern Han Dynasty around 25 to 220 CE, being used primarily for palaces, temples, and gardens. Haljak Jibung was used in authoritative architecture during the Joseon Dynasty around 1392 to 1870 to 1897 CE. Iramoya arrived in Japan in the 6th century, originally being used in the main hall of a Buddhist temple compound, but later was used for the Hoden at shrines, also in palaces, castles, and folks' dwellings. Later, during the Japanese Middle Ages. Now, if we go to the second section, you can essentially the bottom part is known as the hip, and the gable part is this part. Now, this build I'm using an example is based off the Japanese temple Horyuji, which is a Buddhist temple and one of the 7 great temples. Now, let's go on to the dome. This is a dome, well, which often has an overlap with the term cupola, which can refer to the dome or structure on top. Domes have existed in architecture since prehistory and were built in the ancient world in civilizations like Mesopotamia, Persia, Greece, Rome, and China, and in the Middle Ages found in the Byzantine and Sasanian architecture, influencing both Europe and the Islamic world respectively. During the Renaissance, it was Italy that spread the dome to much of Europe. There are many famous buildings with a dome, such as the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, St. Paul's Cathedral in London, the Taj Mahal in Agra, and the Capitol Building in Washington, D.C., to name but a few. Now, if we continue on to the cross section, you can see a dome is just merely a half a sphere or semi-sphere on top of a generally round structure. However, these structures can also be cuboid or rectangular. However, then you would have to do some different sort of architectural styles, of which I can talk about in another video to help. merge the two styles respectively. This is just a very simple dome without any spire or cupola or polar on top. As you can see here, I've built out of stone. It's a very basic build, as all of these are. So I hope you have had a good time watching this video and have learned a bit about different roofs you can add to your Minecraft world, a bit about how to build them, and a bit about their history so you can properly apply them to your Minecraft build. Once again, I'm very sorry about any pronunciations I have got wrong in this video. I am not good at them, clearly. And if you would like another 5 styles, please leave a comment below. And goodbye.